So do you guys like board games?
No.
More like boring games.
Oh, you got him.
Shit. Oh, this is a bad start. Well, do you guys like Dickensian Orphans?
No, I like quitting the games with them.
Fuck, I fucked up.
We're like
oh my god.
I've been
Orphans.
owned. Okay, fair enough. I've been owned.
And you forgot to turn off the Steam notifications twice.
That's okay. But anyways, this is Antihero. Antihero is a digital board game about playing a bunch of Dickensian orphans who steal from the rich.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And fight against rich people. Like, all your villains are rich people.
Oh, what? I don't
just like in
it.
real life.
I'm part of the 1%, and I love gold.
No, future friend, you're part of the biker 1%.
Oh, yeah. I hate gold, but I love biking.
That's right. I'm actually part of the 0.01% who is both a biker and a billionaire.
It's like Batman, you live a dual life.
So there's a story mode in this game that sort of like gets you familiar with the grind of the game, and also sort of like all the different gimmicks that each map does.
Mm-hmm.
So in this game, you only get to see what you're doing. Like, your opponent is completely blind to what you're doing, and you're completely blind to what your opponent does.
Mm-hmm.
And with your Master Thief character can either burgle buildings, which will give resources, or access to kind of like capture territory, or they can move through the fog, which lets you see anything in that area and kind of gives you access to new parts of the map.
So this is just like Dickensian London, where everything is just covered in smog all the time.
Exactly. And you can't move through smog, so your Master Thief character, your prime character, has to go through the smog ahead of time.
Alright.
Then each turn, you have gold and lanterns, which are your two different, I guess, like, resources. And with lanterns, you can buy upgrades. The upgrade I just bought allows me to, I guess, buy orphans. And orphans are used to capture territory. Like, I just captured a trading house there, and trading houses make it so that each turn you get one lantern. So, early on in the game, the primary kind of grind is to start amassing resources and finding places where you can start collecting gold so you can buy new things, and lanterns so that you can upgrade and get new abilities.
On my way.
What's that mysterious figure in the smog?
That's my dad's.
That is an NPC villain. So they kind of exist to block certain like passages from you moving, but they also can be killed by certain recruitable characters. And so you have sort of like 3 different trees you can go by, and what I tend to focus on when I play is like getting orphans so you can start capturing territories, and also getting more movement so you can start kind of getting more area covered. Because again, the beginning of this game is sort of a mad rush for different resources.
Mm-hmm.
And your opponent is doing the same thing.
Right, you just can't see what they're doing, which I guess is a little more sinister. Like, you can see after every turn what they've amassed in terms of resources, but you can't see what they're doing until you get closer into their territory.
Okay.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
Do, like, different characters also have different, like, abilities, or is everyone just a reskin of each other?
In terms of the Master Thieves, they are just reskins.
Alright.
Okay, so what do you think for like guest characters? Do you think we'll get Tracer in because she's got that Victorian accent or whatever?
Yeah, and we'll get the dive kit guys. But so, if you don't scout a place with your Master Thief ahead of time, you can't like capture it. So I couldn't capture that church because I hadn't scouted it yet. but I could get the orphanage, which reduces the cost of buying orphans.
Yeah, but you won't get a gang.
Right. We'll eventually get a gang.
I mean, listen, those orphans, they're gonna grow up one day, and they gotta get another job besides orphan.
And so you can put up to 3 orphans in any building, and if you get 3 in a building, it'll increase sort of like the give of each place. So like the trading house, which gives you 1 lantern, if you put 3 people in there, it'll give you 2 lanterns per turn. And so there's a bit of a balance there, trying to figure out if you want to focus on kind of capturing territories with all 3 or trying to expand territory.
How do you know how many moves you have?
The green circles above the head of the Master Thief
Okay.
are the number of actions that they can take. Otherwise, it is 1 action per.
On my way.
So orphans can only stay in 1 location. They can't move now that I've placed them in one of the spaces.
Okay. And so when you're done with your turn, then that's when you get the stuff from the orphans.
Yes, it's at the end of your turn.
So, like, I noticed there are now ruffians about, which seem like you can't really deal with them as the Master Thief.
Right, so that's why we're going to buy a gang.
Okay.
So gangs can attack enemies and also evict urchins from, like, storefronts.
Yeah, urchins should be under the sea.
That's right. So you can kill these NPCs, and every time a gang kills someone, you can upgrade in one way. You can either evict more orphans, you can do more damage, or you can get more gold per kill.
On it.
Really gotta show those orphans who's boss.
Yeah. And the thing about the gangs is, like, unlike other characters who can evict orphans, they just gain a level. They don't just disappear. A lot of characters have kind of one use, but gangs are used constantly until they're killed. Here we find an estate. Estates have, like, special items in them that you can steal. This one has a diamond, which is, like, worth 4 gold, but you have to get an upgrade to be able to get it. Otherwise, you're not smart enough to thieve some diamonds. And so the goal of the game is to get enough victory points to win. As you can see in the top area, each of us needs to get 6 victory points. And in this map, 2 of them specifically have to be that we burgle from the palace in the middle. So here,
Oh no. They're evicting our orphans.
we can see that Mathilde has shown up in our area and has evicted an orphan with one of her gangs. So she's made it, like, right into our territory.
Oh, so now we're up in the game.
Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately upgrade my Master Thief to do damage. Your Master Thief can attack once per turn, and right now I've upgraded to do 2 damage, so that my gang can come in and do 2 more damage and kill him.
And that one seemed pretty leveled, right? So...
with health, there's an extra unit you can buy to just give health to gangs. But yeah, that one was leveled high enough that it would start to be an issue, because I only have 2 health on each of my gangs. So if it has, 2 attack, it's going to die in 1 hit, and I lose all of the experience on this one gang.
Yeah. Alright, so I know this isn't live, but could you just go over to the building that's called Pussy Jaw?
Look, the Fossy Jaw is a guard tower.
No, it's a Pussy Jaw.
Look, we can't get to it. Or we can't do anything with it. So,
That's just too crass for you.
Oh, I was gonna say, that's what, you can't keep a girlfriend. It was like, there's nothing to be done with it.
Hey, you're making it personal. Don't do that.
But so in this map, in order to get access to the palace, you have to gain, you have to sort of like own the 2 towers that are covered by NPC guards right now. So like, Mathil just sent someone in to kill them, and now you could place a guard in the tower, or like a thug in the tower. I think it's called thug. And they would kind of keep watch. And if both of them are taken over by thugs, you can then access the palace. Otherwise, you're not allowed to. So you are expected to sort of build in multiple different trees to be able to access these different units and stuff. You can't just like orphan spam and get everything you need.
I disagree. I think you should spam orphans.
Orphan spam, good phrase. So since Mathilda's someone in this church,
Excuse me, it's called an orphan rush.
I want to get the orphan out of there immediately, because churches, unlike other buildings that give you extra resources when you capture them, if you put 3 orphans in a church, it'll give you a victory point.
Oh, wow.
But if you ever like lose an orphan, like anyone gets evicted, you'll lose that victory point. So it's sort of a temporary thing.
This guy's cool. His head looks like a swamp.
Yeah, so those are thugs, and you can insert them into gangs to be able to get extra health for them, or they can just block spaces. You can just put one somewhere, and it'll block someone until they die, or I think 2 turns pass.
Or you could put them in the guard tower or something.
Right. But so if you really don't want them to go somewhere, like you don't want the opponent to go somewhere, you could set up a bunch of guards to take place at like different crossroads so that they can't access it without wasting time killing them. So I think the thing I like about this is that there are different ways for you to play, whether you're like going solely for resources, whether you're trying to go for sort of like a more violent approach, just kind of constantly killing off all the characters that, you know, the opposing rich person kind of puts together. There is some freedom to how you build and what you prioritize. Also, please leave my orphans alone.
Whenever your orphan gets evicted, do you lose that orphan?
Yes, you just don't get that orphan back. It just dies, basically.
To be honest, orphans are pretty cheap. Also, you should just murder that gang. Come on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So you can upgrade fully in Stabbery to get 3 damage on your Master Thief, so I don't have to worry about my gang doing it. I can do it on my own, because I want my gang to do something else.
You're an independent murder woman.
So you can't move through opponents' spaces. Because now if I go and I kill this person, this is a special NPC with like 4 health, and if you kill them, it's like a contract. You've killed someone important. They give you a permanent victory point.
Thank God you're an assassin for hire.
Did you start with 2 victory points?
No, those 2 on the right are the specific ones. Like, since I have to go into the palace, they've put 2 there to be like, this is required to do this particular thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And some maps don't have special victory points. It's just kind of racing to either like kill people or capture churches and stuff.
It'll be mine.
Or in the upgrade table, you can also buy up to 3 bribes per match, and those are free victory points as well. They just cost a large number of lanterns.
Okay.
What?
So again, yeah, you could do an entire game without ever like fighting the opposing orphan army. But yeah, I really like the grind of this game. I like the aesthetics. I think the art style is very charming.
Yeah, same. You're gonna buy a copy of it for me, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because while it does have a story mode, I think the main focus is in the multiplayer, where you can sort of like change whatever stats you want. Like you can make it so that orphans cost more to start and change the game that way, or you can play on all these different special maps.
Headshots only.
Right, headshots only, snipers,
Slappers.
rocket hogs. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel as an area control game, it's also a lot more like intellectually satisfying to play against another person and not just against a dumb computer.
Yeah, the nice thing is that as you go through the story, the computer sort of prioritizes different things. Like, you'll get to a very, like, aggressive one who's constantly, like, evicting people and killing off your gangs and stuff. So there are different challenges and different approaches to that. But yeah, playing against a human, it is a much different game, because then, you know, you're playing against someone much smarter.
You hope. I'm not that smart,
you hope.
really.
Because you can play against randoms, and you can play in, like, a ranked mode, or you can play against friends.
I love the way this goober looks with this shitty beard.
Yeah. Also the way he, like, crosses his arms when he's on duty.
Yeah. Okay, so now you can go for the tower, or the palace, because you have the 2 towers.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why, like, the computer didn't prioritize just automatically getting to those fucking towers.
Yeah, because, like, they killed someone, and it's, like, it's weird that they killed someone and then didn't put someone there.
Let's go.
Yeah, I really like this game, and one cool thing is, like, the multiplayer isn't just, like, synchronous gameplay. There's also an asynchronous mode where you can, like, boot up the game, start a game with someone, play a turn, and then just quit.
Yeah, and then like send them a letter with like the position of like your next move.
Yeah, it's like chess by mail, but online.
And this was originally like a phone game, I'm assuming.
I don't think so.
I mean, just kind of judging by the UI, like on the title screen, it didn't have an options menu, it just has that gear, so...
It might have been developed for phones as well, but I don't know about that. I know it has a Steam release, I don't know about other... It may be prepared for later versions.
To be honest, most like board games are also prepared in mind for phone and like tablets and such.
Yeah, I can imagine that. But yeah, again, I think it's really cool to give like an asynchronous mode to this game, just as like a way of, you don't always have to be online with someone to play. You can set up a game, leave, let them play their turn, and come back from, I don't know, doing groceries or whatever for another turn. Like, there aren't a ton of multiplayer games that, like, benefit sort of that asynchronous gameplay style, but with a board game like this, that's really cool and handy.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I've done the special objective, I can just kind of race for other victory points. Like, I could buy bribes, I could focus on the assassination contracts, stuff like that.
Oh, like, there are only, like, 2 main objectives you have to do, and then, like...
Yeah, like, so this one, the main objective is get to the palace. There are other ones where it's, like, main objective, you have to kill this many people on the board. Like, just depending on the map, different requirements get placed in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I don't like this guy.
So this is a truant, and the truant will evict all orphans in one building. So instead of having to build up a gang to do, like, multiple evictions, you can just send this guy in, he'll take care of all of them.
I'm pretty sure that was Count Orlok. I'm pretty sure you just sent those children to be drained somewhere in a gutter.
It's possible.
Hello.
He certainly didn't look like a police officer who would be capturing these orphans.
It's a shame that you don't get them.
Yeah. It's messed up. I could use some more orphans.
Everybody needs more orphans.
It's true.
On it. Is it?
Yeah, now we're getting into Mathilde's territory, and she has nowhere to go. So yeah, it is like, this map I think just does a good job of displaying sort of how the game works. Not so much that the AI is great on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And like along with the different styles of maps, there are also like, there's a double size map, which gives you a lot more space to move around, to sort of develop and do your own thing until meeting the opponent. Like, it does prepare for a bunch of different styles of play and a bunch of different interests of the players who would do this. Like, some are special objectives, some aren't, some are huge, some are small. And each of the maps is randomized each time, in that the building clusters are the same, but they're not always the same building.
Right. Like one could be a church or like just a house you burgle or whatever.
Yeah, so you're never playing the same game twice, which is really important.
I mean, I don't know. I would honestly say that like procedurally generated games usually feel a lot more samey at this point.
Well,
yeah,
it's not even. I could get that, but it's not even really procedurally generated. It's just these clusters are different buildings. So it's not it's not like these maps are completely different. They're all still built around sort of the progression.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just more of something to actually make the fog mean something.
Right, and to make replays mean something, yeah.
Hell, I don't think board games should be replayable. Just have to
I
be
think
one
you
and
should
done,
play them
baby.
once, then throw them in the garbage.
Yeah.
Where they belong.
Actually, don't even bother playing them. Just throw them straight in the garbage.
Yeah.
Wow!
I agree with that.
But yeah, like with the Fog of War style like gameplay and stuff, it's definitely like this game very much seems built for computers, which I think is cool. Like it is meant to be a digital board game, and it does things that like you couldn't do with a real one.
Yeah.
Also, I just bought a bribe there to show it off.
Hello.
Well, how else can you get victory points aside from the church and the bribe? Do you have to
Bribes-
like exhaust everything on the board to be able to finish, or?
No, it's just getting enough victory points, which you can buy with bribes. You can do assassination contracts, or you can capture churches.
And you didn't want to capture that other church because it would instantly win the game?
Look, because I want to show off at least one more thing.
I do gotta say though, like, if this was an actual physical board game, it wouldn't be that impressive, because, like, I don't know, like, the rules in this seem like a pretty straightforward 4X that doesn't really work, like, incredibly elegantly, and it doesn't really seem to have, like, kind enough going for it to constantly replay because it's so deep, you know?
That's fair. I get that.
I mean, it seems like a game that would be hard to do as a table thing, because how do you do, like, Fog of War on
On a table.
Yeah.
You just blindfold yourself when it's not your turn. You just shoot out your eyeballs.
And you just have, like, a big, like, wall between each other so that you can't see what the other person's doing.
You have, like, a fucking saw trap where you look at the board when it's not your turn, you, like, get kicked in the nuts.
It's actually just Battleship.
Yeah. So, I bought an explosives guy just to show off the last, like, main unit that you can get, which
Is terrorism.
Right. So he can go through any character, and he just plants a trap at an area. So if an opponent tries to, like, burgle it or send, like, a gang to evict it from it, it'll explode in their face and they'll lose their turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that lasts for 2 turns.
Will it, like, hurt them or, like, kill their...
No,
Okay.
it doesn't hurt them. It just, like, leaves them out in the open. Because presumably you've been to that area at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just, like, see that they've gone there and probably, like, do a counterattack now that they've been unable to do something. If the Master Thief does it, they just lose all the Master Thief turns that they would have had for that turn. So it can be pretty devastating. Anyways, I'm basically just, like, I don't
This is
know,
a
leveling this
victory
guy up to
lap.
max. Yeah, this is the victory lap before I send an orphan into a church.
Oi.
But which church do I want to go to?
That one. And there you go, I won. Congratulate me.
I've
The
seen better.
children did the real work.
Yeah, but they were my children, my orphans.
Can you get 3 stars on these? It seems like you haven't.
2 stars just shows what difficulty you've beat it on the highest. I haven't done hard yet.
Oh, okay.
So here are like the skirmishes, like you can do versus AI and stuff like that, just to kind of practice. You can set all
Honestly,
these different rules.
There's nothing that sounds as depressing as a virtual board game where somebody just plays First AI for like 30 hours.
Isn't
Look,
that
you
what
could. You don't have
Civilization
to.
is?
No, you can play Civilization with each other. That's like what most people do after like a few games.
Isn't it like 80 hours though?
No,
Oh,
that's
okay.
you.
And so to go online for like ranked mode, you have to like make a secondary account for like their own servers, which is a little weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But-
Chorps, I'm not done talking about other video games, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, continue then.
More like
I think
Civilization.
instead of anti-hero, we should be a real hero.
Well, we are sort of a hero. I mean, we're stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
No, we're
Are
giving
we?
to us.
Are we just giving to ourselves? Why are those orphans wearing bell bottoms?
Well, you play as Lightfinger, the guy in blue in the front, and he's like the head of a society of orphans and takes care of them. So you're doing good.
He looks like Tilda Swinton.
Why are their heads so big?
Dickensian England is a nightmare.
Oh, okay.
The Thames got all that like Thames water up on their heads. It's like a watermelon now.
I like Antihero. You should buy it. It's cool.